Hello, my name is Erika Brown Johnson, and I am with Loving Our Children today. I am VP of Operations with Loving Our Children, and I also have our Chief of Staff here, Cynthia Camble, as well as our Executive Administrator, Cashmeira Henderson. We have here two young ladies with nonprofit organizations, and Cashmere is going to introduce those young ladies and their organizations.
Hey everyone, I'm Cashmeira Henderson, and today we have Temprest Perry, who is founder and president of Broken Wings Incorporated. And we have Miss Tierra Burke, founder of TGLS, Teaching Girls to Love STEM. So we're going to learn about what they're doing today.
Awesome, awesome. Ms. Campbell, did you have some other things you wanted to add before we get started?
Right. And I just want to, there's two things really that I wanted to point out. So in our AIM curriculum, we have a section that is one of the principles we have in one of our section is the principle says, you not only need to pray for the vision and direction of children, but also for yourself, guarding your heart, ensuring that you are in the will of God, that you have balance, your faith, your health, finance, and relationships need to be stable, and your position in raising children or mentoring a youth should be that they know that they are valued and loved. This will ensure their identity. But it also tells us that pride may prevent you from seeking help. Lay it down and get the help you need. And so there are many evils in this world, but when we seek help for one another, we can grow and help mentor the young people of this that come into our influence. And that is why I brought these two ladies on here.
Awesome, awesome. So these two young ladies, Temprest and Tierra, they are influencers in their communities. Tempest is it Dallas, Texas?
Yes.
Dallas, Texas. And Tierra is actually in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So they both have nonprofit organizations. I'm actually going to ask each one of you young ladies about your organization and how you got started. So we'll start with you, Tierra. If you can tell us about your organization and how you got started with this nonprofit.
So my nonprofit is TGLS, Teaching Girls to Love STEM. I got started with it because I researched and found out that there was less than 5% women in the STEM field, and I wanted to change that. So I decided to create a nonprofit that starts at a young age so that the young girls can see the joys of being in the STEM field. Because I always hear my friends talking about they don't like math, they don't like this, they don't like that. But I love math, and so I want to be able to inspire other people to go into the STEM field because it is a really fun field.
Awesome, awesome. I'm one of those not like math people. So I take my hat off to you. And go ahead, Tempers, tell me about your organization.
So my organization is Broken Wings Learning to Fly Again. I actually got started with my organization last year, but what caused me to start my organization is because I was in a very abusive relationship. It took me a long time to get out of it. I just kept going back, and it was really hard for me. I felt like I didn't have anybody to really, help me out of that situation. And I actually went to a shelter with me and my two baby girls. And that is what prepared me to say, you know what, I don't want other girls to feel like they have to go through these things. So I want to catch this at a young age, to love themselves, to value themselves, to, just appreciate who they are and what their God-given, purpose is. So that's what really just made me be like, you know what, I really want to, stop this at the root of the problem, before it gets to be something really bad, So being in the shelter is what really helped me. So that's my little story.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's I'm pretty sure there's a lot more to that story. So, but we'll go ahead and stick to the plan today. We're going to start out with just a few questions that we have for you guys. The first one is for Tierra. Tierra, tell me, why is STEM important?
I think STEM is important because it comes around in our everyday lives.
I don't know if many people know this, but civil engineers are actually the people that build the roads and the buildings that we see every day. They also help with refrigerators, mini fridges, and I like, I love food. So fridge kind of keeps my food cold. So I need civil engineers. And as an environmental engineer, well, future environmental engineer, I also help with the environmental impacts, such as like Flint, Michigan, not having clean drinking water. I would be the person to help try and get them clean drinking water.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right, Miss Tempest. What differences have you seen in the girls that you have worked with?
The differences. I know when I first started the program and we had our first session, I noticed that the girls were a little shy and closed off. I would say a few insecurities, but I can say at the end of the program, the girls were opening up. They were showing, they were expressing things that, most people take a lifetime to, to express those things. So that's the difference I saw. They opened up. They were more free to be themselves. Like they were just little butterflies that just bloomed and blossomed. So, yeah.
And what's the age groups of those young ladies?
The age group is 11 to 17 years of age.
Awesome. All right. So, Miss Tierra, what future do you see for TGLS? So, what's your vision for the actual organization as a whole?
So right now we are still kind of small. So I'm working on getting funding so that we are able to do more advanced projects for the older kids, such as like dissecting or things that involve actual chemicals. So I want to just be able to do advanced projects to show them like things that are used in everyday lives. And I also want to expand it throughout Colorado, maybe have one person that runs it in each city, and then maybe in the future, the world. But right now I want to start small with just Colorado.
There's nothing wrong with thinking big. And same kind of question for you as well, Tempest. What do you see the future of Broken Wings? How do you see, what's your vision for the future? And I do actually see your vision. I saw your vision and I have some questions about that later, but what's the vision that you have for your nonprofit?
Well, as of right now, my biggest thing would, as Tierra said, is funding. I would love to get funded because there's a lot that I would like to do with these girls. Like I said, I would love for them to walk in their purpose and to know who they are and be confident in who they are. So, college, arts, dance, like things of that nature, just giving children, to help them grow, and also I would also like to start a Broken Wings in my hometown because it's just really, there's nothing for our people, I feel like, to help us kind of escape out of poverty. Those kids, their mindset is really just on seeing what they're, kind of seeing what's presented to them, which is drugs. I want to sell drugs, and, I want them to think beyond that because there's so much more in life than trying to sell drugs and, things of that nature. So, yes.
So is this program, your program, also offered to young men as well?
Not yet, but eventually I would like to offer it to young men as well.
Awesome. Tierra, was there someone or something that sparked you to be interested in STEM?
Yes, my mom. So apparently when I was a little girl, I would always play with the water and pretend like I was filtering the water, and I always make a mess in the kitchen and my mom would get so mad. But then growing up, she did more research for me because I did a science fair project that was a water desalination project, and I won most beneficial application. And she helped me research careers that relate to water, and we found that environmental engineering is a career, and we kept doing research and realized that that's definitely the career that I need to go into.
Awesome. Good job, Mama. Most parents don't pay attention sometimes enough to their children to actually to help craft what their vision is for what they're thinking their vision is. They don't nurture that enough, but that's really good. Temprest. So tell me what hurdles you have found or faced in trying to open up this nonprofit organization.
Ooh. Oh my goodness.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot.
Yes, where do I begin? I would have to say my biggest hurdle is entrusting people to do certain things for me and not following through with it. That is my biggest thing. When you drop the ball, we all drop the ball. We're supposed to be a team. So my thing is, if it doesn't get done, it leaves it to fall back on me. I have to prepare. That has been my biggest hurdle, I would say, is entrusting someone, whether it might be a board member, a parent, a volunteer. That has been my biggest hurdle. Like, okay, I'm going to assign you this. You do that for me. And then it might be a text, an hour, or email an hour before it's time, like, yeah, I forgot. And to me, that's just so irresponsible. So I feel like we're supposed to be a team. When one drops the ball, we all drop the ball. So to me, that has been my biggest hurdle.
Awesome. That's true. That's definitely true. So I know you spoke earlier about funding. How hard has funding been for you?
Funding has been really hard because I've been given so much information. I know they were telling me, oh, you need to be a 501c3 in order to receive grants. So I finally became a 501c3. I found that out. But starting a nonprofit and not knowing, because I know it's my vision, but I know this vision was given to me by God. I know this is something God has for me. So it has been really hard to find the information that I need and people following through. So it has made it really hard in the direction that I need to go in order to receive funding. So I did do a fundraiser, and first time doing that, I did raise $300, but I noticed that with a nonprofit, I feel like you come out of your pocket more than anything. And I want to finally get established where people are like, we see what you're trying to do. We want to invest, or we believe in you. Here's this, that, yeah. So that has been my biggest thing for me.
Okay. Awesome. I think Cashmeira has a question here for you guys as well. You're muted.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, Tierra, what's with the tiara and the sash? You look so pretty.
Oh, thank you. Yes, last year I competed at Royal International Miss, and I became Miss Colorado Role Model.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome. All right. So my next question is for Tierra again. Do your parents get involved with your nonprofit or any of your projects?
Yes. Okay. So whenever I need to go out and buy the products, the experiments, because I do have to use my own money for right now, they are willing to give me more money because I don't make a lot. So they're willing to give me more money, and my volunteers, like what Temprest said, they cancel on me at the last minute. They're there to like help me through it, and so that the kids that do show up, I'm able to go still do the project without feeling overwhelmed. So they're very supportive of my nonprofit.
Support is everything sometimes, but when you don't have it, God is still there. Yeah, it's still there. So Temprest, where did you get the idea for the self-love program? Where did that come from? And what have the effects of that particular program been on the young ladies that you mentor?
The self-love, I was just sitting with my board and I was just thinking about like everything that I had to go through in my past. And I just feel like if I had loved myself more, if I would have known how awesome I was, if I was doing affirmations, if mom, it was just so much. If I would have had that foundation planted in me, those seeds planted to help me grow, and I just feel like that would have been the key for me to not even look for love in the wrong places. And my ex was definitely a wrong place. So I just feel like if I would have had that self-love, that wouldn't have, he wouldn't even been a question. He wouldn't even been able to look my way because, he couldn't look my way now because I know who I am and who, God has prepared me. So, I don't regret that situation because that situation has really helped me to become the woman that I am now. But the self-love came from me not loving myself. And I think I just want to pour that into young girls for them to, love themselves.
Good. That's awesome.
Thank
All
you.
right. One question for you, Tierra. What obstacles did you face when starting the nonprofit?
It was really hard to try and find people that actually want to do like a STEM camp. They think that STEM is boring, so trying to find different projects to show them that it's not boring is very difficult, as well as trying to get people that will come back consistently. Right now, I literally only have 3 people that come back consistently. Everybody else, they always have something else going on, so it's just very hard trying to plan it all out and figure out stuff that works for everybody.
Gotcha. Temperest.
Yes.
I read on your website that you do these character building exercises, right?
Mhm.
So what is one of the character building exercises that you actually do with the young ladies who you mentor?
Let me see. The biggest one was affirmation. So we have like mirror talk where you get in the mirror and you're always talking like, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am courageous, I am awesome, I am wonderfully made, just putting those affirmations in you daily, because if you're doing that daily, it just really helps. Like even me, like I even have to let the girls know, like, Miss T is doing this too. Y'all not on your own. Like Miss T is doing this too. I constantly, have to get in the mirror and be like, you are beautiful, you are awesome, you are wonderfully made, and so my biggest thing for the girls are affirmations. Like get those affirmations, do those affirmations, make sure you get in that mirror and talk to yourself. Even when we have our Zoom meeting, I'm like, did you girls do your affirmations? I'm like, okay, let me hear your affirmations, and they can do their affirmations. So the character building would be the affirmations for us.
Good. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm so excited for you young ladies. Actually, if you all don't mind, before I move to my last question with Tierra, could you give me your ages? Because I really want to see, I want other African-American young ladies to see how young you guys are and know that they can do it too. So how old are you, Miss Tierra?
I'm 19.
You're 19. And Miss Temperest?
Awesome. I'm 34.
Okay, you're still
Yes.
young, honey. You're still young. Yes, that's awesome. All right, and it's important for them to hear your ages, because sometimes we give these excuses, but I'm too young, I can't do this. But you're not too young. You're not too young. So this is the last question for Tierra that I have. What has been the best part of building the nonprofit for you? Personally?
I really like doing the projects with the kids. They, before each project, they come up to me, before, COVID, but they would come up to me, give me a hug, tell me what they want to be when they, grow up as their future career. I love them talk about it and like their faces light up. It's just a great feeling for me. I love knowing that I made this in them, because some of the experiments that we do made them really think about what they want to be.
Awesome. And my last question that I have for you, Temperance, how are you building your students' leadership skills in the community?
Being more respectful. I'm really big on respect. Um, like when I was younger, that was always instilled in me: respect, respect, respect. Always respect your elders. Always say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And I just see there is a lack of respect in the community with these kids. And not only just, behavioral, mine would be mannerism. I just see we have a lack of mannerism. No, oh, excuse me, no, yes, ma'am, no, yes, sir, no, sir. Things of that nature. Because even when I was younger, if I see someone, struggling, trying to put their groceries, I was that girl to be like, oh my goodness, you need help? Let me help you. And I just think that is like lost in our community. Wanting to help others, be there for others, mannerism, and things of that nature. So that's something that I'm trying to instill in the young ladies, is to always have respect, not only for themselves, but for others. And don't be scared to reach out and help someone who's in need.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, I read, Temperance, I read your vision and your mission statement. And I actually want to just read your mission statement here. It says, Broken Wings seeks to empower and uplift young girls into becoming effective leaders in their communities. Through mentorship and character building, we instill confidence and values, breaking generational curses, and giving a voice to girls who feel alone and rejected. How does that speak to you?
So the generational curse thing would be when I was younger. And I can speak freely about it now. I was very held back about it. But generational curses, a lot of times, as parents, we tend to tell our kids what goes on in this house stays in this house, that's true. You don't want your business all over town, depending on what you're doing in your household. But I feel that that's not always the route to go with kids. I feel like kids should be able to express themselves. I know a lot, and I don't know if it's just in our community, but I know we tend to, some parents in our community tend to say, oh, if they got a grown folks business and things of that nature, which, that is correct. But sometimes if a child is steady trying to reach out to you and tell you something, and you're not listening to that child or paying your child attention, and I feel like you miss a lot of things with your child. With me, I kind of was neglected at a young age due to my parents being on drugs. So, I was molested at a young age, and I had to deal with that for years. And it just made it hard because, for one, I didn't know that it was wrong. For two, no one talked to me about it. For three, I'm being bounced around. So I really feel like the generational curses, those things have to break, because those chains have to break, because a lot of people are sweep that under the rug. Like if your child reaches out, sometimes parents tend to sweep that under the rug because they're like, we don't want to cause embarrassment to the family. But what you're failing to realize is if you're sweeping that under the rug, what happens with that child? What does that child do? What if we don't expose this person, then you're going to be letting your child go over to this person's house, and it's going to happen to this child. So that to me is the generational curses that I want to break. I want to break those generational curses, and I know I'm going to do it. So
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Any last words from anyone before we further, if anyone else had any more questions?
Yeah, I wanted to ask both of them each a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, for you, Temperest, I think what you're doing is amazing. It's so awesome. I'm so glad that you're doing this because even as hearing you be so transparent about your childhood and everything, when I was growing up around the same age of the girls you're working with, 11 to 17, I really struggled with self-worth, and I could have benefited greatly from your program. So I just wanted to do on that, and also wanted to ask you, how have you grown through the process of building this?
I've had to dig deep and deal with those past traumas, but like you said, being transparent has really helped me, and it helps me to connect with the young ladies. I feel like when you cannot connect with the kids, then they don't learn from it. So for me to be open and say, hey, I had to deal with this. I was abused, physically, mentally, emotionally. And like you said, self-worth, I didn't know my self-worth. So I feel that being very transparent is how I connect with the girls. They're more open to be like, hey, even when we have journal time, I notice that they will express themselves more to me. And, they don't always have to be so transparent in front of the classroom with the other young ladies, but journal time is our time to say, is there anything you need to tell me? Is there anything that you need to talk about? How did you feel? So being transparent with the young ladies really helped me.
That's wonderful. I really appreciate that. It's great.
You're
And
welcome.
also, what do you see for the future of Broken Wings?
So much. Like I can't even put it in words. I can't even put it into words, but I know God's gonna do something big with it. I'm believing in Him. So.
Amen. That's great.
Good.
And thank you. And for Tierra, I just also wanted to say you're doing a wonderful job. And I am not a math whiz. I never really enjoyed math. It wasn't in me, but it is in my daughter, which I can't even really relate to it. But I see her, she's the same things that you were talking about, like playing with water, doing different experiments. Like that's her. And when you were talking about that, I could see her in my mind. And just recently, I've been trying to find different projects for her to do. And when I started, because of quarantine, because you weren't able to be with the kids, but it's awesome. And me and my daughter are going to be watching your videos because it's great. And there's really great ideas. So what growth have you seen in yourself building the nonprofit? Because I know it's a lot of hard work.
Yes. I personally think I matured a little more because before I started it, I was still kind of dependent on my mom for things, and I just needed her help with everything. And now doing this, I feel more independent, and like this is my thing that I started, that I did myself. She helps me every now and then, but it just makes me feel good knowing that I started it.
That's wonderful. That's great. Both of you are doing such a great job. And, especially for our community, we need stuff. We need the things that you guys are bringing to the table. So I really appreciate both of you. And you have our full support.
Thank you.
Okay, on that note, when Cashmeira says you have our full support, we're not only talking about in words. So what we have reached out to thirdwavefunding.org on the behalf of both of you. So we'll be writing a grant for you for funding and capacity building. Yes. So, and you also have us as mentors now. So if you need anything, roadblocks, everything else, you are now involved in our little tier because we want you to succeed in so many different areas. I know how hard it is starting a nonprofit from scratch, and I know both spectrums of where you guys are at, and we're going to make sure that you guys succeed. And I am looking so forward to it. So when God had told me this is who you enter into mentorship with, because I've been watching you guys and just being quiet, and that's what I do. I'll watch and I'll wait, and then when I see those gifts and talents, it's time for you to be able to minister and to be able to pour back into other people in different aspects and not bleed over the people, but be able to come from that place of strength because you're healed, you can go forward. So you guys are gonna do really great things, but we're here to support you 100%.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you.
thank you so much.
And can each of you guys give your contact information? We'll let you start, Tierra. What's your contact information for your nonprofit?
So TGLS has a Facebook page. It's just called TGLS. And once you like the Facebook page, I will ask you to be friends with me personally on Facebook so I can invite you to the group. Because in the group, that's when I express meetings, and my mom even posts scholarships because it's never too early to start applying for scholarships.
Yes.
So that's where everything really is posted. The website is also on the Facebook page because it's a long website. So the website is on there, or they can email me at Tierra, TIERRA .Burke, B as in boy, URKE at yahoo.com.
Awesome.
Great. And Temprest?
Yes. So on Facebook, you guys can reach me at Broken Wings. On Instagram, it's Broken Wings INC. And let's see. My email would be brokenwingsincc@gmail.com, and my website is www.brokenwingsinc.com.
Awesome. I did have one more question for you. For someone wanting to, I don't know if you actually set these type of donations, but I saw that you have a professional day that you do with your organization with the kids.
Yes.
Okay. If someone wanted to donate professional clothing for the children, is there a place where you would accept those type of donations?
Yes. I would have to speak more with my board because we did come up with that because each session is a different session. So once we haven't planned that far ahead out, we planned all of our sessions. But yes, once we get to our professional dress day, we will have it where they're able to donate professional dress clothes to the young ladies.
Okay, great.
It can be contacted via email.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Any more last words, Ms. Campbell and Ms. Henderson?
I think we should, I'm gonna let you pray over Tierra. She's getting ready to go to Colorado School of Mines. Woohoo! That is a really hard school to get into. And when she graduated both high school and college at the same time. And she's been working and she's done so many other things she hasn't told you guys about. And so we want to encourage this generation coming up. Take the bulls by horn, tear the bulls' horns off, and do whatever else you need to do. We're here to support you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, before we end, then how about you guys tell us other things that you all are doing outside of your nonprofit? So tell us more things that you're doing, Tierra, like Ms. Campbell was stating about going to school. Is there anything else that you want to share?
Sure. I volunteer at the library. I've been a volunteer at the Sand Creek Library for more than 4 years. I recently just aged out. And then I have also been a volunteer at Colorado Springs Teen Court, which is a place that helps kids ages 10 to 18 get first-time misdemeanors off their record. And I'm a bailiff and a peer panelist there. And then I'm Miss Colorado role model. So I've just been doing many appearances. And then I will be going to the Colorado School of Mines, majoring in environmental engineering and minoring in computer science.
Awesome. I actually have someone I want to introduce you to. I'm going to send you information to her Facebook page. She's a professor and she works in STEM as well.
Okay.
Go ahead, Temprest.
Yes, so I actually just finished writing my book. I was brought on to be a co-author with this young lady named Shamika Oliver, Breaking the Code of Silence. So I have a series in her book. So I just finished my book literally 2 days ago. So that's what I've been working on all summer. And so it's once broken, now healed. So
Awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. We're going to go ahead and end for Facebook. And then we'll say the prayer.
Before we end on Facebook, Cashmeira, can you reiterate the AIM program and then we'll get offline?
Oh, yes. So our newest program of Loving Our Children is Aiming Your Child as Arrows. And in that program, it's a 5-part video course, and it discusses how to affirm, instruct, and mature your child so that they can follow their destiny, their God-given purpose for their life. And there's also a bonus course in there, Aim for Teen, and that's directed just at teens so they can learn how to deal with everything that's going on. Like, we live in a crazy world. And so it teaches about emotional health, physical health, how to conflict resolution and those kind of things to help catapult them so that they can succeed.
Thank you. Thank you for listening, Facebook Live.